I'm a typical Cancer. I couldn't care less about places apart from my own home. So the idea of going to Greenland or places like Skellig Michael just doesn't arouse any feeling in me. Although, of course, the discovery he made on Skellig Michael of what appeared to be some sort of force which flung him flat is very interesting. Because when he was going down the hill in Skellig Michael and was suddenly thrown flat by what seemed to be some kind of supernatural force, it sounds exactly like the activity attributed to poltergeists. And yet, it's unlikely to have been a poltergeist, in an island completely in the open. So almost certainly he was dealing with something which was there permanently, but as it were, absorbed into the landscape. Almost an electrical force. And I think this is fascinating because, once again, he's taking that step through the curtain. Out of the world, you see poltergeists appear, as far as I can see, to be spirits. It means banging ghost, poltergeist. But most people, most psychical investigators, think that they're due to the unconscious minds of disturbed adolescents. Now, having studied the poltergeist, I don't think that's true. Poltergeists are spirits. I've just no doubt whatsoever of that. Having looked at lots and lots of cases, they appear to be some kind of spirit which is able to use the energy given off by disturbed human beings, free-floating energy which they can then use for their own purposes. And what Lethbridge had done has taken a very interesting step sideways from that in noticing this thing on Skellig Michael, and recognise that some kind of forces may be associated with certain places, and that the forces are due to the Earth itself. Don't forget that Lethbridge didn't really know very much about what became very fashionable after his death, all the talk about ley lines and Earth forces. I think, in fact, if he had known about ley lines and Earth forces, he would have got very excited, because it obviously fitted in very closely with all his own ideas. He wondered whether places like Stonehenge, with the force which he knew to exist from his own experiments with the pendulum, whether such places could in fact be beacons for flying saucers and maybe provide a source of energy for them. All of this seems to me so way out that, it doesn't really make very much sense in the light of, what I think we now begin to know about UFOs. But for that time, in the 1960s, incredibly percipient. I think that whole theory that ancient civilization was created by spacemen is nonsense for one very simple reason. Our ancestors knew a tremendous amount about the precession of the equinoxes. We don't know why, but it seems clear that all primitive tribes understood this peculiar, strange movement in the heavens, which is due to a slight wobble on the Earth's Earth's axis. The Earth's axis wobbles slightly like a top, spinning on the ground and turning in different directions as it goes. That causes the stars, over an immense period of time, sort of about 26,000 years, to appear to change their position. Now, the ancients all thought that this was of incredible significance, that it was, the gods doing something or other. Now, if in point of fact spacemen had really come to Earth, the first thing they would have said to these people is, "Oh, you're just exaggerating. It's merely due to a slight wobble on the Earth's axis." And the fact that, they continue to attribute this tremendous importance to the precession of the equinoxes, I think proves that whether ancient astronauts landed on the Earth or not, they certainly didn't teach ancient people about astronomy. Which means, in turn, something very interesting, that ancient people, maybe 100,000 years ago, maybe far, far older than that, knew all kinds of things about the heavens that, we now regard as modern astronomical discoveries. Why? It was important to farmers, admittedly, to know about the seasons and all that kind of thing, but why the stars? And why pay so much attention to the stars that you notice something as slight as the precession of the equinoxes, which is merely sort of, 1 degree a year or something like that? This is incredible. For some reason, our ancestors were totally obsessed with the heavens, and they had the feeling that, the answer lay up there, which in turn must mean that our remote ancestors, maybe 100,000, 200,000 years ago, were far, far more intelligent than we give them credit for. They weren't apes. They weren't ape men. I think that the interest in the sky was taken by the shamans or witch doctors, who felt that it was all of some tremendous deep significance. And of course, to some extent they were right. To some extent, as I say, it was pure superstition.